I'm Gonzalo Barrientos, a former senator from Austin. I'm voting against Proposition Q because I love Austin.
Senator Barrientos, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. How long have you lived in Austin?
Oh, right out of high school from Bastrop, 1960.
Okay.
So that's a few decades.
It's been a few. Yeah, that's okay. And you originally were a state representative in 1972, and you went on to be a state senator. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's a short version.
I'm sure it's a very short version. I think you served a total of about 30 years.
30 years in the Texas Legislature.
Yeah. So you have some pretty intimate knowledge about how governments work local and state, and we're here to talk about Proposition Q, Austin's Proposition Q, voting on November 4th, which will raise property taxes by about 20% for Austinites. What do you think about that?
Well, let me say this before I get to that basic question.
Sure.
First of all, the people elected by the city of Austin, I wish to thank them for serving, and especially want to thank all the workers in the city of Austin. They do all the work, and so they should be appreciated. Now, back down to questions, however. When I first ran for office, people would ask me, Barrientos, are you a liberal or are you a conservative? And I say, look, don't give me that baloney. I'm a liberal about children, making sure that they have a good education, love at home, and health facilities. I'm a liberal about the elderly. They paid their dues, making sure they have good health facilities and taking care of them. I'm a conservative about spending money, especially other people's money. In the legislature, I found that doing the practical common sense things are what work the best. And that is, if you're going to be in charge of spending the people's money, do what is common sense and what is needed and what is not needed immediately. So one of the reasons then is that I'm voting against Proposition Q. Well-intentioned, but there have been things in the past that should have been more clear to the people of Austin. I'll give you a couple examples.
Sure.
Project Connect several years ago was to provide a 20-some-odd miles of fast rail for the city of Austin. Growing, that was going to be needed. There was going to be a subway under downtown Austin, and there was going to be, at the first, a tunnel under Lady Bird Lake to get to South Austin. And I was asked to help sell that to the people of Austin. So I asked some of the people who were going to do the project, you're going to dig a tunnel under Lady Bird Lake? How much is that going to cost? And I'll never forget their answer. Well, it's in the work. That's in the process. Now, wait a minute. You want me to vote for this, but you can't tell me how much it's going to cost. So all in all, they said it's going to cost about $5 billion. Well, today we know, and the people voted for it with the information they had. But to me, it was a blank check, and I wasn't about to sign a blank check, so I voted against that one. Now, apparently, the project had been reduced a lot, and if it was at full funding, it would cost about $10 billion now. And that wasn't just like a bond where you did a project, you finish it, and that's that. That increase was 20-some-odd increase in the property taxes, and that was forever. Now, with some of the things that have been happening in the last several years, for example, you've heard about Project Connect. There's a lot of money there already because that tax is still going on. But things like the convention center. We had a nice convention center. It was knocked down, and they're building a big, pretty new one. I don't know that was going to be needed, seeing what was coming up with Trump and those folks at the helm. Other things that are going on Like, for example, this cap and stitch, where you put another level on top of I-35 over here in downtown Austin, and then on top of it, you put a little park or flowers or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. Not now with what we got right now. And I think the city of Austin committed something like $104, $105 million just for that. I'm reminded, I'm sorry, about the new logo for the city of Austin. It's kind of cute, but I got a great granddaughter that's 4 years old. I think she might do pretty good, but better than that. Other things that have happened in the past, people will remember. Painting a beautiful painting at Bergstrom, the airport, and they were going to pay, I don't know if $1 million for that.
Yeah.
And the worst part was it going to be somebody from Chicago, New York, or someplace else, not Austin artist. So there are other things that happen like that. For example, the health district.
Mm-hmm.
I passed that legislation several years ago to help treat poor people and poor people only.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's being run like some corporations. I just found out that they are going to pay to hire lobbyists, $200,000 worth of lobbyists in the legislature.
Yeah.
With the people's tax dollars. Now, Central Health is under the jurisdiction auspices of the city of Austin and the county. Now, the city and the county, they can hire lobbyists, but Central Health's job is to treat poor people, period. So a lot of these things going on, and so all of the issues of Proposition Q that they want the money for, they're good intentions. But let's use common sense, folks. You can do certain things. I am reminded of when my kids were younger, we wanted to buy a brand new bicycle for my son, but the tuition was going to be next. So we say, okay, look, we're going to put this off about buying a new bicycle. The tuition is more important for the moment. We'll get that new bicycle a little later. It's using common sense. That's the way I think, with all due respect.
Yeah. So what can I ask you, what area, what neighborhood in Austin do you live in?
I have lived all over Austin. I lived on the east side of Pleasant Valley and 3rd Street.
Yeah.
I lived in the Deep Eddy students' apartments, married student housing. I lived in South Austin, over there by Zilker Park, but we finally got enough money to buy a house almost right in front of St. Edward's University,
Okay.
right behind what used to be El Gallo, which just got knocked down
Yeah.
the other day. So, Middle South.
Yeah. And so do you think, the Pleasant Valley people, even where you live now, South Austin, St. Edwards, can people in Austin afford another 20% property tax increase?
Some people can afford 20%. I think the middle and the low income, for many of those people, it would be starting to drive them out of town.
Yeah.
That's what happened to some of the people who went to Kyle, to Pflugerville, to Bastrop, to Elgin, to Cedar Creek.
Yeah. And you have experience. You're obviously you were an elected official. You have some idea about how government budgets work, and whether it be state. I'm sure you have some familiarity even with local level. But this $33 million deficit that they're trying to close by asking for this tax increase, which will be more than $100 million. Do you think that that $33 million deficit, is this the best way to go about closing that gap?
From the information that I have now, it's not the best way. There could have been cuts made to some of these other areas. Cap and stitch, can we wait a couple of years on that? Let's see what happens after Trump leaves office.
Yeah.
Surely things will be better. But anyway, it's there are other ways to do this.
So you've lived all over town. It seems like everywhere except for maybe Northwest Austin, and with your experience over here since I think you said the '60s. How has Austin changed demographically?
Well, certainly there are many more people here
Sure.
because it's a great place. It used to be even greater. Now we're going to have the tallest skyscraper in Texas.
Yeah.
At any rate, there has been gentrification on the east side of Austin, where most of the Latino population, Mexican American population lived, also where most of the African American population lived. The African American population has been moved out north and out of outskirts of Austin. The same thing is happening on the east side with the Mexican American population. Why? Because people can't keep up with the cost of living here.
Yeah.
And if you want a little house or an apartment, right now you're going to pay about $1,300 to $1,400.
Yeah. Just for a small one bedroom.
That's right.
Yeah. And so that, especially for renters, the property tax increase is going to probably hit them the hardest, as well as, would you say, you talked earlier about being a liberal for the young people and for the elderly. Elderly have paid their dues. They've contributed to society, make sure that they're taken care of. Is increasing their property taxes by 20%, is that taking care of the elderly?
I am not sure about the exact figure about taking care of the elderly or the ones in ill health or who are ill. What does it take? We've tried to keep up with those things over the years.
Yeah.
When I say we, people in the Texas Legislature and the county and the city. It appears that we have more, because of the population, of those problems than we used to have. So certainly it takes more money. But here again, the city and the county have to work closely with their state legislators. I know that when I was serving, we set up a rainy day fund. And where is that right now? How much does the state have? Are there reserves? And so we've got to get some elected officials to push even harder with the state of Texas, who ought to be working with the federal government right now. But I know it's difficult because of the leadership of our country right now.
Yeah. So I guess my question more specifically is for the elderly that have been here for so long, raising their property taxes, something that they don't have a choice but to pay. It's not like a sales tax. Does that make their lives easier? Does that make their lives better? You can, whether it be the elderly on a fixed income or the young people renting or whoever.
It makes life very, very difficult for the elderly. The elderly may not know what to do. They might just say, I give up. I don't know what to do. They can put me on the funny farm, or they can put me in some, or they can go out in the street with the homeless. But we should not do that with anybody, but especially the elderly and the young kids.
Yeah.
We have to prioritize spending. And prioritize spending to me means education, health, safety. Right now, I think that we're 200 or 300 police officers short in what we ought to have now.
Yeah.
Which I recognize, especially when I'm walking my dog right in front of St. Edward's and they're doing 45, 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Right in front on Congress.
Yeah. I want to ask you, the proponents of this, you were an elected Democrat. The proponents of this are claiming around Austin that only Republicans are against tax increases. Do you think that's true?
I don't know who made that observation, but they need a lot of fact awareness, education about the issues. I am an American. I am a Democrat. I believe in the great creator. And so I try to, on those bases, go about helping people, helping myself and the family, and helping our country. Anybody who says that only Republicans care about these taxes is unaware of life.
And the argument is being made that this tax increase is necessary because of Governor Greg Abbott and President Donald Trump. Do you think that is do you think that's the case, or is this a city of Austin issue?
Certainly, Trump or Abbott are not helping the situation at all. I am against those individuals. I think it's terrible leadership and more like, especially from the White House, dictatorships. But you can't blame everything on that one issue. We're here in Austin, Texas. We ought to be dealing with our issues right now, keeping that in mind, of course. But we can do a lot better in spending our money, in my estimate.
Yeah. So you think the city of Austin made its own bed with this and needs to maybe look inwards and tighten its own belt before asking for more from the taxpayers?
Yes, I do. And I think that they ought to be using some of that money from Project Connect, millions of dollars, to take up this supposed the money that they say they need.
Yeah, the deficit. Yeah. Well, Senator Gonzalo Barrientos, is there anything else that you'd like to, for those that aren't aware of what Prop Q is there something that you would like them to know?
Everybody out there is going to get taxed. Property tax. If you're a renter, your rent's going up. If you're an owner of property, your property's going to be taxed more. Find out if you want that right now. All of us have to do our share to support our community, our state, our country. But let's do it with common sense. And right now is not a good time for Proposition Q. To my friends in the workers, I came from the cotton fields of Texas as a kid. Been there, done that. In the legislature, in the House and the Senate, 100% support for our unions, AFL-CIO. But all of us have to use, not just the little parts of our society. All of us have to use common sense in what is needed and what can wait a little while.
Yeah.
So this time, I'm going to wait a little while and vote against Proposition Q.